Today I'm sharing more details on how HRT has really been going for me. My last video was short because I was a little under the weather, and I'm sure a lot of how I was feeling was due to being in late perimenopause and also recently starting hormone therapy. Before I go any further, I'm 48 and I have been dealing with many unpleasant health symptoms for at least a decade. Until a few years ago, when I finally realized that a lot of my weird symptoms were most likely due to, or felt worse because of my rapidly decreasing hormones and clearly being in perimenopause. I want this video to be helpful if you're going through a similar phase of life. And to show my appreciation for watching, I'll share some details for a printable that I will talk more about in a bit. The last few weeks, I haven't been feeling my best for a few reasons, and I need to point out that even before starting HRT, I am the type of person that often doesn't feel great. And once starting hormone therapy, I have had 2 periods and also got a sinus cold. So it was like the perfect storm. I mentioned in my last video that I would share what I did to help myself feel better. But first I need to quickly chat about the symptoms that affect me the most and the ones that I experience often, but that don't affect my day-to-day as much. Some of the information in this video might be TMI for some, but if you're a woman going through your menopausal phase of life, I have a feeling that you might relate to a lot of the information I'm sharing. From worst to bad, my most irritating symptoms are extreme fatigue, headaches and migraines, brain fog or just a lack of concentration, constipation, joint pain, breast pain, tinnitus, rapid vision changes, food sensitivities, anxiety, and just easily feeling overwhelmed. And when I have periods, if they are heavy, it definitely affects me as I need to go to the washroom every hour or so on the worst day, or else I end up with a mess. Other symptoms that I'm experiencing that bug me but that don't affect my day-to-day are uncomfortable weight gain, bloating, inflammation, mood swings, hair loss, and skin changes. And keep in mind though, at some point some of these last symptoms were so much worse before and now they're better. And or vice versa, right? I've had a lot of weird symptoms that also come and go, and at times it's really hard to pinpoint if in fact it is because of perimenopause or something else that has similar symptoms. So it's always so important to visit your doctor with your health questions. As for what I did to help me feel better, well, brace yourself because I recently had to reach into my bag of remedies to relieve some of my most troublesome issues. And the craziest one is actually a topic that I've talked about before. It's actually one of my most popular videos. If you're curious, I'll share the link with you. So what did I do to help me feel better? After starting HRT with a sinus cold while being constipated and during a period that felt like I was hemorrhaging on the worst day, it was indeed a rough couple of weeks, but here goes. Let's start with what I do no matter what is causing my issues. I'll assess if I've been drinking enough water, reflect on what I've been eating. I think back on if I've had a bowel movement in the past few days or weeks, how often I've exercised or got fresh air, and if I've been getting enough restful sleep. Stressors are a huge contributor to how I feel in perimenopause. So the smallest thing sets me off like never before. So I try to find ways to reduce what causes my body the most stress. If I get a headache or a migraine, I'll often try to see if I can fix my head pain naturally before I reach for medication. When I'm not feeling well and my head hurts. Often like cold gel packs are great for when I experience like eye pain during a migraine. And lots of rest and sleep is the only way to heal a migraine. If I realize that something I ate might be the culprit, I'll drink water and definitely do what is necessary to get my bowels in motion, which could include a walk. And again, rest as much as I can. Please note that the meals I consume are gluten-free, and I also have sensitivities to many other foods, even healthy ones, which is very frustrating because one week I can eat a salad, no problem, and at other times greens make me feel so sick. With my latest head cold, I was experiencing like a sore throat and congestion, the kind where as soon as you lie down at night, you can't breathe, and like really bad sinus pain. And natural teas, such as the one called Throat Coat from Traditional Medicinals, was super helpful. For the congestion, I ended up using a product that I've tried in the past, and it's called Clear. Some call it X-Lear, but it is clear. It contains a combination of saline and xylitol, which helps to keep your nose moist, and it cleans the air that you breathe, which is super helpful at night and great to open up your nasal airway during the day. You can use that spray twice per day. It is great. So getting back to natural teas, there are even some for bloating, and this one's called Weightless, and there's one for constipation called Smooth Move. The one for constipation includes an ingredient called senna, and senna can also be found in a pill form in a product called Senocot. Both can create a little bit of cramping to encourage a natural bowel movement. So those are some products to consider. My doctor always suggests commercial laxatives or stool softening powders for constipation, but I feel that taking any of them long term is not ideal. Oh, and actually, if you take magnesium powder, which is a supplement, which is also natural, that is actually what I would recommend if you want to take a supplement to help your bowels. That one works great. And if all else fails, water enemas, that's right, water enemas are what I do to help move dry, old stool along the way. The kind that you can feel in your rectum, that causes major bloat but just doesn't want to come out on its own. The kind that triggers migraines or severe fatigue, and at times can also make me vomit if I leave it for too long. I've shared a video about this topic before, and if you're curious, I can definitely create a new one with more details if you're interested. Originally, this procedure was suggested to me by a naturopath that I was seeing, and it took me such a long time to decide to finally try it. But once I did, I regretted not doing it any sooner because I felt so much better. It almost immediately helped so many of my issues. And it makes sense because poop is garbage, and when your bin is too full, feeling crappy is the result. In the past few weeks, I took the time to do 3, maybe even 4 water enemas, and it takes me on average 30 to 45 minutes to do. Then I usually take a warm bath and soak and relax. Deciding on when to do one is usually based on having a bad migraine, feeling sick or nauseous, constipated and simply feeling horrible on all levels. The thing is, when I'm feeling this way, I'm usually home anyways because I don't feel well. So it only makes sense that is the next thing for me to try to help myself. When I do water enemas, the next day I have so much more energy. It's mind-blowing. The bloat disappears, I feel lighter, I have a pep in my step. I even jogged for a few minutes on one of my walks. One mistake I did do throughout the past few weeks though is to try to increase the amount of protein I consume each day. Oh Lord, I thought that maybe if it would help me like with my energy level, but it did the complete opposite. The problem is I don't digest meat, poultry, or fish well at all. On one of those days, I tried to eat the suggested amount of protein for a menopausal woman based on my weight, and the next day I felt so sick. My body felt like it was blocked and my head hurt so bad. I literally felt like I was gonna die. My thoughts are never great when I feel this way. I feel so alone and it really sucks. I since have eased off most animal protein, and yes, I've tried digestive enzymes, but it didn't help me much. I feel better today. I am still working on increasing my protein intake in a way that my body can handle. Being on HRT has affected my mood. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm experiencing like sadness or even like a sense of doom at times, but again, maybe those feelings are worse because I am not feeling well, or is it the HRT that was making my symptoms worse? I don't know for sure. As for having 2 periods since being on HRT, the first one was somewhat normal, but the second one, holy geez, on the one day I was bleeding so much, it was insane. I was considering getting help, but it didn't continue past the one day, so I kind of just left it. I had previously mentioned that my longest stretch without a period was 6 months, and I laughed because I thought this recent bleed sure made up for not having a period for many months, that's for sure. My sleep has been sort of all over the place. At times I feel like it's better, but then I catch myself waking up often at night and sometimes having a hard time falling back to sleep. Maybe an increase in progesterone could help me. I will definitely ask about it at my 3-month checkup. As for sore breast, it must be the fluctuating hormones. And I haven't really found anything to help me much other than not letting anyone hug me on the worst days, which is kind of sad. I sometimes wonder if the change in hormones is like the root cause of so many of my health symptoms or women's symptoms in general. I joke at times and say, I wish we had a manual or we came with a manual because my operating system is so freaking darn confusing. All right, so earlier I talked about a printable, but in fact I will share 2 with you. The first one will be a printable to help you track your unpredictable perimenopausal cycle. That is if you still have periods, with a bonus symptom tracker, which you can access through the first printable. You'll notice the little QR code at the bottom. There's also a second code that links to a menopause notebook. The notebook is handy for women in their menopausal phase of life who want to track a little bit more than just their symptoms, but that is quick to do on the days that energy and time are not abundant, or you just don't feel like writing long notes in a journal. I'll leave all the links for you in the video's description. I thank you for watching, and leave me a comment if I left anything out that you were hoping I would cover. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.